City prosecutors have charged 4 Honolulu police officers with felony offenses in connection to a single-car crash in 2021 that injured 6 people. KITV4's Eric Nacton has the story.
In a case capturing widespread headlines, Officer Joshua Nahulu is charged with collisions involving death or serious bodily injury, while Officers Eric Smith, Jake Bartolome, and Robert Lewis are charged with hindering prosecution. All 4 responded to a noise complaint in September of 2021 at Maili Beach Park. They then followed a white Honda that took off.
I'm certainly glad they're filing charges. I think it's questionable as to why it took them 18 months to file charges in this case. I have questions about the nature of the charges. One, because I think they could have been far more serious. People were almost killed. And 2, the charges only concerned the one victim, the driver, but there were 7 people in the car. I have questions about why the police officers have still been allowed to work as police officers all this time and are still working as police officers today.
During the chase, the Honda crashed into a home on Farrington Highway. 5 teenage boys were taken to the hospital in serious condition, and a man was treated for critical injuries. 3 of the officers reportedly drove past the scene. Nahulu, who prosecutors say was closest to the crash, failed to stop and render aid. When the officers were dispatched back to the crash, they're alleged to have claimed they had no idea what happened. They're also accused of leaving out details of what occurred in their police reports.
How do you chase people for 4 miles in early morning hours when it's dark out? You don't put on your police siren or your lights, and you try to bump them off the road. There's 2 impacts into the back of my client's car. He didn't know who was chasing him. He was terrified. And then they wind up going into a ditch and getting turned over. And the police run. The officers are seen coming side by side on video, and they run away. And then they come back on a 911 call and make believe they didn't know what happened. This is unspeakable. They had badges and guns, and they're getting paid by the county to protect people.
Attorney Michael Green represents Jonathan Perkins Sinapade, who suffered traumatic brain injuries in the crash. He says a civil lawsuit connected to this case is in mediation now, and that the criminal charges may move the Honolulu City Council to settle the case. Eric Nacton, KITV4, Island News.
HPD Acting Chief Keith Horikawa today released a statement saying the charges filed against these officers by the Department of the Prosecuting Attorney are serious, as was the collision that resulted in injuries to multiple individuals. 3 of the officers had their police powers removed following the crash, and the 4th officer's police powers will also be restricted. Along with the collision investigation, an internal administrative investigation was initiated and remains open.